In this video, we're going to look at a couple 3D shape commands. So in the 2D version, there was a handful of commands or functions that created shapes like circles, polygons, and so forth. Then there's analogs in 3D. So for example, a cylinder is maybe something you would want to create in 3 dimensions. So if I do C equals and start typing cylinder, notice that we've got some options for this. So either we can give the cylinder function input a circle and a height, or 2 points and a radius. We'll use the second one. So we'll start at 0, 0, 0, or the origin, and then we'll end at 2, 2, 2, and then we'll have a radius of 1.5. Now, once I hit enter, notice that we've got a cylinder that starts at the origin, ends at 2, 2, 2, and has a radius of 1.5. And this is pretty cool. We can rotate this 3D graphics view around and get a good feel for what this cylinder looks like. Now, if I click on the cylinder, there's different things I can do, like change the color of this thing and change the opacity. And in that case, I only changed the color of one side of the cylinder. Now, on some of these, you have to play around and figure out which one you should change to change all sides of the cylinder. But anyways, I'm going to delete this cylinder, and this was just kind of an example to show you that there is a command for cylinder. There's one for cones, but I won't talk about that one. But we will look at maybe the sphere command. So I'm going to use S equals, and then we'll say sphere. And if we give it a point and a radius, we can say, okay, the center of the sphere should be 1, 1, 1, and then we'll have a radius of 1.5. I'll hit enter. And now we've got this pretty looking sphere in our 3D graphics view. Again, we can change the visual attributes of this thing. I'm going to delete the sphere, and we'll just real quickly look at the tools that are up in the 3D graphics toolbar. If you want to create a shape, there's a handful of tools for this. So there's tools for prisms, pyramids, cones, and so forth. So you can go ahead and use those if you want, and it might make life easier. So I'll show an example of this. I'll say I want to create a sphere given a center and given a radius. So I'll click in the graphics view, and I'll say I want a radius of 3. I'm going to hit enter, and then use my move tool. Now I can move the center of the sphere around, and so the sphere moves accordingly. One of the other cool tools from this toolbar is the Intersect Two Surfaces tool. So I'm going to select that, and it allows me to select the sphere, and then I can select the XY plane. When I hit enter, it's going to create a new element that's the intersection of these two other elements. And so to get a better feel for what this looks like, I'm going to do 2 things. First, I'm going to hide the XY plane by selecting this option from our little toolbar up here. This still shows the axes, but now we don't actually visibly see the XY plane. Another thing I'm going to do is select the sphere and turn down the opacity quite a bit. Then I'm going to select the Intersect Path. I'm going to turn the opacity of that pretty high up so that we have some contrast so we can see where the intersection is. Now, if I select A, if we move the sphere up and down, we see that the intersection of this sphere with the XY plane is highlighted here in orange. And it's pretty nice that this updates so quickly. So now we've got a good feel for how the intersection of the XY plane with the sphere looks.